Hello everybody, E here. Today I have a top 10 list for you. My friend Aaron Nash, been a buddy of mine for a couple years now, asked me to do, a long time ago, sorry Aaron, asked me to do a top 5, top 10 something on Dean Koontz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite Dean Koontz books. The first 5 are going to be honorable mentions, as it were, great Koontz books, and then, but they're not going to be in any order. The next stack is going to be my top 5 favorite. I will let you know I don't read Dean Koontz anymore. I haven't read his latest 2 or 3 books. I'm done with him. I'm tired of him. He keeps writing the same stuff over and over again, the same types of characters. There's a dog in every book. It's gotten annoying, so I stopped reading him. Anyways, to jump into it, so to answer any questions that might come up, no, I haven't read The Silent Corner of any of the new stuff. I think the last one I read all the way through was The City, and I'm done. So here we go. First on the list, these are the ones in no. They're even so dusty, I gotta wipe them off. The first one on the honorable mentions is Odd Thomas. It's not my favorite book in the series, but I do not own the series anymore. I got rid of them after he ticked me off. It was a dumb thing to do, being a collector. But anyways, I found this for 25 cents, so I picked this up again. This is my second favorite in this series. My favorite in the series is Odd Interlude, the one right in the middle. It was a series of novellas on the ebooks. And after that, I don't think I liked a single one of the books after that one. Next up is one, Winter Moon. He wrote this under another name. Many of his books in the 80s and 90s were written under another name, one of a dozen different pen names he had, that he went back and he rewrote again. And then it was a paperback only. It came out around the time Mr. Murder did. You can always tell because it'll say like author of and then the most recent book. This one was big fun. I'll always remember the scene in the cabin at the end. Very cool book. It's a alien thing. Next up, another honorable mention, we got Watchers. A lot of people find this to be one of his best novels. There are too many problems with it for me to, especially the romance is just hokey and silly. It just doesn't need to be there. Watchers, but great suspense in this one. Next one, another one people consider to be one of his best books is Phantoms. I didn't care too much for the resolution. I love the book. But the resolution just seemed, I once again, I don't like things with religion, and this one had an ending that was religion-based. Hello, guitar. Okay, last on the honorable mention is Cold Fire. This is one of the books that he would go on to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. And when I say that, I don't mean he rewrote this specific book. I mean that many of his books read or feel exactly like this one. It's very odd how he just reuses the same plot points over and over again. Okay, now into my top 5. These are my subjective, these are my top 5 favorite Dean Koontz books. I can read them. I've been able to read them over and over again, and they withstand the test of time. I'm going to leave that one for last. So we're going to start off with Darkfall. This one I read, I think, when it first came out, and I loved it. This is also part of what I call Dean Koontz's Black Neon series. It's the Barkley books. It's always a black cover with some artwork, but a very bright, you'll see some more like this, very bright font. This one is about little demon rats, and it was so different from his normal stuff. I think there's even some voodoo in here. It was so different from the rest of his stuff, and it was a hell of a ride. I loved it. Alright, next up we have one. When people read my debut novel, Bay's End, they harken back to Stand By Me or It, because it's a coming-of-age tale about a group of friends as kids. Actually, I didn't have Stephen King in mind at all when I wrote that one. There were 2 books that I had in mind. That was Richard Lehman's The Traveling Vampire Show, which if you guys want to see me do a top 10 of his or top 5 of his, let me know in the comments. And this book, The Voice of the Night. I remember reading this for the first time and going, I want to write a book like this. And it holds up the test of time. I reread it recently. So much fun, so dark, very, very upsetting in tone, but it is a great, great book. Next, we have, this is probably one of my favorite books of all time, but there are some issues with it, The Bad Place. I will never forget the reveals in this one, especially the main bad guy, how he had 4 of something, and nothing of something else. I don't want to spoil it for you, but this one was a hell of a ride. It opens up, it's one of those, one thing that Dean Koontz does well is he jumps right into the story, gets you going, and you move at a quick pace throughout the entire thing. It's just he's gotten repetitive. This is one of his more original stories also, The Bad Place. Now, next, I guess it'd be number 2 on my list. They're so dusty. I had to pull these off the shelf to do this video. This is Dragon Tears. I think this was either the 2nd or 3rd book of his that I ever read. My mom bought it, and I snuck off with it. I read it in the corner of my bedroom, in my closet, wherever I could get it, wherever I could get a chance to read it without her seeing me. And I remember being fascinated by the main bad guy in this story. A lot of his books but this is a lot like Darkfall. This goes back to the fact that he just keeps on rewriting the same books over and over again. It has the same type of lead characters, main characters, has the same kind of supernatural, magic-y plot. But I dig that kind of thing, and I'm a sucker for this one. This book is great. One of his best. Now, the best Dean Koontz book I have ever read, and I read it over and over again. I'm a sucker for anything carnival-based, and it'd have to be Twilight Eyes. This book still gives me feels to this day, thinking back on certain scenes. It's a rather hokey premise. I mean, it's a really B-movie, really silly sci-fi understory, subplot, whatever you want to call it. The main villains, even some of it comes out in Odd Thomas storyline. But this is an amazing read. There are some people who say there's actually 2 books in here. One that Koontz wrote way back in the day, and then he ended up chopping it in half and splitting them up, and ended up rewriting the second half to make it fit with the first half. But it wasn't always as long as this, and some people say they prefer the first half of the book to the second half, and I think that's why. Anyway, so if you ever get a chance to read this one, I highly recommend it. Twilight Eyes, I don't recommend anything he's written recently. If you liked it, let me know down there in the comments. Let me know if you like his new stuff, if you like his old stuff, if you like both, if you don't like any of it. Let me know. Until next time, I have been E, you've been you. This has been a top 10 Dean Koontz list, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.